All right, I am Matt. Welcome. This is the second stock speedrun for the weekend of June 4th, 2022. If you're unfamiliar with what a stock speedrun is, you can always check this video's description for an explanation and a disclaimer as to its content. Why don't we go ahead and kick this off right now? With Nexstar Media Group, whatever that is. Oh, that's right. My job here is to find out. Yes. Ooh, whatever it is, it got a bump up after hours on Friday. That's interesting. Did they announce anything interesting on Friday? Well, maybe. What's this? June 2nd. Was that Friday? No, that was... No, that was Thursday. Huh, that's interesting. Anyway, Nexstar Media Group, let's see. What do they do? Television broadcasting, digital media company, acquisition, development, operation of television stations. Ooh, what stations do they own? Agreements to 37 power television stations. But stations are affiliates of ABC. Its stations are affiliates of ABC, NBC, CBS, CW. Maybe I don't understand what it means by its stations are affiliates of, because that doesn't mean they own them, because I know for a fact ABC is owned by Disney. Or at least it was? Maybe that's changed? I don't think so. They didn't display advertising platforms that are delivered locally or nationally. I mean, I know Fox is definitely owned by Disney now. That deal went through a couple years ago. But I'm pretty sure ABC was too. I'm not too sure what they mean by this. Okay, let me just read this one more time. Focus on the acquisition, development, operation of television stations and interactive community websites, digital media services, free programming to television viewing audiences. Okay, I'm not too sure what to make of this sentence. I mean, usually it's not a good business model to give stuff away for free. Provided sales, programming, other services through various local service agreements to 37 power television stations owned by independent third parties. Okay, so that must be the third parties that we're talking about. That's what they support, these stations that are owned by said third parties. Provided sales services to company offers, video display. So it sounds like they support mostly broadcast television stations through the acquisition, development, and operation of TV stations, interactive community websites, and media and digital media services. Okay, that's fine and all. Let's see. I kind of wonder if this large move in 2020 is due to people staying at home and having nothing to do but then to watch the boob tubes. Seems to have persisted in 2021. Let's see, what do the quarterly look like? Also still fairly steady over the quarters. Very interesting. Now, it's not going anywhere though. Even prior to 2020, I could point at 2018, 2019, maybe even 2017 and 2016, and say there's slight growth here. You could see some from 2018 to 2019. So, excuse me, I'm tired apparently. And I forgot what I was going to say about these charts, so let's go ahead and move on from there. See, what do these numbers look like? Kind of meh. Well, actually, no, not meh. Because it's had a good latter half of 2020 into 2021, but then again, so did everyone, because we're coming out of a global goddamn pandemic. Last year, though, kind of going sideways a little bit. I mean, I guess that kind of makes sense, seeing as their earnings and revenues are going sideways a little bit also. Let's see, what else do I look for? Top communication stocks, let me see what that has to say. Participate in credit squeeze, names 3 veteran broadcasters. Estimate signal upside for Nexstar SOT. What do you mean surging estimates? Because I don't see surging estimates here unless you have yet to catch up, Yahoo. Our Zax rank has... You know, I hate these Zax articles that cite the Zax rank as a reason why you should buy a stock. Because it's like saying, hey, I like this stock. Well, why do you like the stock? Because I like the stock. See? I labeled it as super duper awesome buy. Well, okay, yeah, but why? Because this article over here had it mentioned that I had rated it super duper awesome buy. Anyway. Evolution of forward 12-month Zacks EPS estimates. Wow, that just shot through the roof. Oh, no, wait, the black one is the... Okay, never mind, the black one is the stock price. Purple chart. I guess this purple piece is estimates that have happened, and this orange one is estimates that will happen in the future. I mean, you're not really having a huge shoot up from where it is now. Because in 2 years, sure, it's going to go up and down a little bit, but you estimate that the EPS is going to be roughly where it is today. That's not terribly encouraging, actually. That's no. I don't like that. How about Nexstar earn a Zacks rank of #1 strong buy? I don't agree, Zacks. You can label it as a buy if you want. I don't have any qualms with that, but strong buy? When you expect their EPS to be the same 2 years from now? I don't think so. I'm not buying it. Fastest growing. So, okay. Best value communication stocks. You're not here. Fastest growing communication stocks. You're not here. Although, is Zillow really a communication stock? That's debatable. Communication with most momentum. Ah, here you are. But what's behind that momentum? That's the question. You're a diversified media company that owns, operates, provides services. Yeah, we read this part already. Do you not provide... Is this literally just looking back? Says nothing about... Sure, this is how it did well over the past 12 months. It says nothing about the following 12 months, or the following 2 years, or the following 4 years, or the following 10 years. Who cares? That's a shit article. Let's see. Great value stock right now. I don't think so based on what I'm seeing. It's mediocre at best. Local news operations. Stocks lagging. Blah blah blah. Quarter one earnings and revenue surpassed estimates. Okay, good for them. I don't think it made the price move all that much. Not really, no. Well, a little bit, maybe. Does pay a dividend? Yeah, it does. That's something at least. Yeah, this is something where you probably sit on it for no other reason than the dividend, because this isn't something that will suddenly drop, but I don't really see any giant upside either. It's probably going to go sideways for a while. So is it sideways to slightly creeping up? Maybe. That's being optimistic, I think. You know, barring any unforeseen circumstance, of course. Because it is not unusual where I give something, you know, a hold or a sell based on the fundamentals, but then something comes up a month, 2 months, a year later, where, oh, who could have seen this coming? Nobody! Some bullshit news comes out of the blue and makes this into a star pupil. How the hell am I supposed to predict that? I don't got a crystal ball in front of me. If I did, I wouldn't be doing this shit. I'll tell you that. Anyway. Media advertising. Also this week's value line survey moves to its #1 class with no comment. See, it's weird how everyone wants to label this as a really good company, but then they don't want to explain why. Chance to back in on weakness. Concerned with the overall market in the next few months. I would be concerned with this over the next 2 years, based on those expectations. And I'm guessing that surplus cash generating machine with a great management team with diluted 7. With regard to News Nation programming, quote, and we will have a show on the air before the end of the year called The Hill. Because we own... Isn't that a show already? I could have sworn it's a thing. It sounds so familiar. Is it a newspaper? And I know it's something. There's something called The Hill that exists in the world somewhere. Because we own the digital asset, The Hill. Yes, it's like a website. It's like a news website, right? The Hill. Yeah, I knew that. Yeah, is it also a newspaper? No, it's an online. I'm assuming it's an online only publication. Yes. Wait, what tab was I looking at? This one? Okay, called The Hill because we own the... So they own The Hill. That's interesting. You already kind of watched the DC panel type show. No, on the year before the end of the year. So they're gonna make a show out of The Hill. Fascinating. Release a sliver of our spectrum to every market that would reach 68% of the country to Netflix. They felt they would need a speed. I'm having a hard time parsing this sentence. I don't know what the hell they're talking about. We could lease a sliver of our spectrum in every market that would reach 68% of the country to net. That's not even English. What the fuck are you talking about? But I do think that you'll see once we get the 50% of... This guy talks like Trump. Jesus. Can't wait to see the investment of this stock pay off in 2021 to 2 years of elections and extreme buybacks. Time to buy back in again. I bought more today, but also have it sold over the last few years. Good for you, Steven. Do you believe their investor relations, our top line, should keep growing over the next 3 years? That's not what Zax thinks. That's not what that Zax article said. Sure, they can change their estimates at any time. It probably doesn't really mean all that much, but it's weird that they would say it. It's weird that they would even admit that, hey, we like this, but, you know, it's going to be earning the exact same thing in 2 years, which is kind of shit. Keep my fingers crossed. Independent broadcaster. Three months ago, a lot of price target increases. And if they are the largest independent broadcast group and the largest local with the largest local broadcast audience, that's pretty impressive. Made the company one of the most outstanding companies in the industry. The national news network, political advertising historically has grown. Local television. I wonder if that means that there's going to be a pop in earnings this year, and then again in 2024. That's interesting. Risks. High level of debt. Okay. Popularity of streaming may put downward pressure on transmission fees. That's also possible. Growth may slow due to being near the station ownership cap limit. What is that? I want to know what that is. FCC broadcast ownership rules. Up to 2 television stations in the same designated market area if either the service areas, at least one of the stations... That's interesting. Growth may slow down due to being near the station ownership cap limit. Own up to 1... So I assume they're approaching this limit of owning... up to 2 television stations in the same designated market areas. That is very, very interesting. That's an interesting piece of information right here. If anybody gets a single takeaway from this video, it's this line right here. That is fascinating. And no one's talking about it. No one else points out, hey, that's a really good thing to point out here. Their growth potentially is legally limited, and they are nearing it. That's interesting. You know, up until I saw that, I was thinking of giving us a buy just based on my previous assessments that I don't think it's going to go down. It may continue to creep up, and you can sit on it for a while if you want to and collect those dividends. But now I'm kind of reconsidering because that's a very good point there. Because they don't have a whole lot of growth the last 2 years roughly. Charts kind of gone nowhere aside from getting caught up in the post-COVID bubble. And if they can't continue to grow, I feel like the price is going to catch up to the fact that they can't grow their revenue at some point. Or they can't continue to grow their revenue at some point. That's very interesting. Oh, now I don't know what to do here. Oh, You know, yeah, I think that's kind of changed my opinion. I think that's changed my opinion to a hold, to be honest. Because the reason why I think that it won't go down, but it may creep up slightly, is the prospect of future growth. But if that prospect, unless they expand into completely different markets, radio, for example, it was talking about radio ownership too in the FCC rules. Unless that happens, investors may catch on to the fact that they kind of have nowhere to go. And once that happens, I can see the price taking a hit. It may not be this year, it may not be next year, it may not be 2 years from now. But if they truly are reaching a limit, a legally enforced limit that the FCC defines, then that's going to come back to bite them at some point. They kind of have nowhere to go eventually. Again, I don't know when that kind of realization is going to inflict the stock price, but I think it's going to happen eventually. That's very interesting. Okay. That was a good one. That was a good one. Yeah, I'm thinking hold for this, and I'll see you in the next one, fellas and ladies and whatever.